Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Pleasanton. I'm your host, Splendorio. Joining me today, it's a very special day. We have Mayor Jack Balch and Vice Mayor Matt Gaidos. We're from the beautiful city of Pleasanton. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for being here. Now, we always start off the show with a question. It's Mayor's Choice, where you want to update our viewers. And I think, Matt, you're going to take a shot at that.
Sure, yeah. It's coming on spring and everyone's getting ready to put in their summer gardens. It's important to remind our residents that our free compost hub is open for the season over off of Laguna Creek Lane. Open Fridays through Sundays, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 5. Come bring a big plastic bag, bring a truck bed, bring something that's not going to get too dirty in your car, and pick up your free compost for your garden, bring it back, mix it into your soil, and enrich your plants for the summer. So it's a nice way for us to achieve sustainability by putting compostable material back into our communities and something of use. So it's a first come, first serve, so please come out and get it while supplies last.
Great. Anything else you want to add, Matt?
I'll add a few more. The beauty of that is it's in partnership with StopWaste.org, which Councilmember or Vice Mayor Gaidos sits on for us at Pleasanton. So that's a beautiful thing. The other thing I wanted to point out to our residents they may see is our downtown. We're planting new trees downtown. I think there's 5 varieties, so don't quote me on that. There could be 3 or 4. But the north side of the street's done. The south side of the street is getting done. We could have done some things differently, that's okay, but we fixed the sidewalk, which is really important for pedestrian safety, and so I just wanted to pull that out. The second thing I wanted to mention is the Pleasanton Playbook. So I don't know if our residents have seen this yet. We announced it at the State of the City, and it's live, printed material is coming out. It's basically a fold-out, 8.5 by 11, of how to get a permit in Pleasanton, how to open a business. And one of the concepts was, a lot of business might be a restaurateur. They might not know how the permitting process goes in Pleasanton. So this lays out how you will walk through our permitting process. The beauty of it, Splend, was that when we laid it out in draft mode back in October, it allowed us to see the streamlining that the council approved in December. So when I talked previously to the viewers about the streamlining we did in December, this is the result, a much better streamlined process to get a business up and running in Pleasanton. And economic vitality is the focus of all of us on the council. So really excited.
Well, that's a great development. I know the trees I've noticed myself.
Yeah. Some
great.
of them are very large, and some we might need to water a little more. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's turn to something that, look, Pleasanton downtown is just gorgeous, and the sign, which is over Matt's shoulder, has been around since 1930, or actually behind my shoulder also, since 1932, and it's been refreshed. So tell us what happened, why was it refreshed, and give us a little history. Let's start there, a little history.
Sure, yeah, I'll take it. Speaking of downtown and trees and beautiful things, it's our Pleasanton Arch sign, which actually was granted to the city in 1932 from the Pleasanton Women's Club. And actually the same ceramic letters that are up there are the original ones from nearly 100 years ago. So when it was first installed, the city paid, I think, $90 for the iron poles and $500 to install it in full. And by today's standards, that's a good investment because it's lasted a really long time. It served as more than just a Pleasanton sign. During World War II, there were actually horns that were installed on it that would, thank God, I don't think we had to use it, but if we did, they would have signified that there was an air raid or a bombing going on. So Pleasanton was a long way from London and Europe, but nevertheless, we were ready. And also, it was used to call volunteer firefighters, the horns were. So in 2005, it was refurbished, updating the structure and putting some lighting on it, again, using the same porcelain letters from 1932. And we painted it green, I believe. It was blue originally, before being repainted in the 60s. And so it's one of the few remaining old gateway signs still standing in California. And it's something that, when every time there's a senior prom or senior ball, homecoming, all the kids are taking selfies in front of it. And, it's something that's spanned generations. And it's just a staple of driving through downtown. And it's a great thing to have.
right, great thing. Jack, any comments about the arch?
I think Councilmember or Vice Mayor Gaidos, I just keep on calling him that. Vice Mayor Gaidos has it all down. The nice part is the horn still works. You can push the button. It's in the museum on Main. So if you sweet talk Ken and the team over there at Museum on Main, they may let you push it. During the Leadership Pleasanton that the Chamber puts on, where they do the downtown tour, I had the opportunity to do it myself. I didn't call a firefighter or a policeman, but still pretty nostalgic all the way. So yeah, really exciting to hear the history.
Yeah, I know recently we had the Good Guys, and I'm sure there was a lot of photos taken of old cars with and, an old sign, and I'm sure it's a classic photo.
Yep.
Yeah, nostalgic.
And especially as we go to this summer, we're going to have Weekend on Main again, and so it's just it is us. So it's beautiful.
All right, let's talk about, we had talked about something old, we're talking about something new. There is a new deli in town. It's further down the Main Street from the sign. Tell us a little about this new deli.
Yeah, so Domenico's came into town. So I looked it up. It's 201 Main Street, Unit E or Suite E, and they're open 10 to 4. So hopefully in a little bit. Outstanding. They've got a couple of locations in town. But it's basically, the notes say at the end of Main Street, but I think given the address, that's the start of Main Street, closer to the Burnell side. But super, super good sandwiches. They opened on March 28th. I was there. They had nostalgic first day shirts for the crew. And they were working out a few bugs, as all restaurants do at the beginning, but the bread was outstanding, by the way, and it just smells wonderful. So, yeah, really exciting.
Yeah, Domenico's was in Danville for a long time. I've frequented that place over the years, and we're super happy to have them in Pleasanton. That's going to be a good deli and good sandwich and good food downtown. So it's down on that Main Street across from the neighborhood bar and grill on that side, kind of tucked back there where Nolan's Cakes used to be for all the old Pleasanton people who know where that is. So.
Yep, yeah, know it well. Been there myself already.
Yeah, and I'll just mention, we have so many newer restaurants opening on downtown. I know that people see some storefronts that maybe aren't open for business, but we as the council, for about a year now, have been tracking the activity of all of the units downtown and trying to understand each one's unique challenges and how to, help them along to create the vibrancy. So I'm really excited. So we've got, Planta, we've got Nosh Market, we're doing a ribbon cutting on soon. We've got, I'm going to skip a few if I don't mention them all, but yeah, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, and Jack and Matt, instead of just naming, but there's such a great variety of different cuisines in downtown. Just maybe throw a couple of things that you may not realize. I know you can get Indian food, you can get Mexican food, you can get, we just mentioned the deli. But perhaps talk about some of the types of food you've seen lately, and it's been a real international fare here.
Yeah, the boba, and I went to ramen on Tuesday because it was raining, so I like soup and all that. And yeah, so it's definitely got a variety.
Yeah, great. Yeah, somebody probably reflect more of the city than it does anything else.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
Yeah, Mediterranean, Indian, Japanese. I love it. I mean, all that. It's nice to be able to go somewhere, anywhere you want downtown and get something completely different.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Great. All right, let's talk a little bit different here. Just 580, which it seems like our freeways are always in a state of being repaired or upgraded, which is fine. I mean, it means the state's spending money. But Caltrans is going to do some work around Pleasanton on 580. Please update our viewers on what's going to happen, what they can expect, especially regarding closures.
Yeah,
580 West, basically, if you're getting on at Foothill Road or Santa Rosa Valley Road and headed west on 580 towards Castro Valley, and you're going to be traveling late at night or in the really early morning hours, just pay extra attention. Expect that there's going to be cones and flares and road work out there, resurfacing and smoothing off the pavement, addressing wear and tear, overall safety and quality for drivers. This is our tax dollars hard at work. We're happy to see it. And I think Caltrans is doing a really good job of doing it during times that aren't going to affect a great deal of commuters, considering that's a pretty major, commuting route going west to Oakland and west to San Francisco in that area. So road workers are going to be out there, so please be careful. Plan ahead, plan 5 or 10 extra minutes if you're rushing there in the morning. And while this is inconvenient in the short term, I think long term the drivers are going to appreciate a nice smooth roadway going west on 580.
Is this a continuation? I mean, I've had to, I think, Matt, you do too, have to go to Oakland quite a bit.
Yeah.
And, but sometimes when I have late meetings and I have returned in Castro Valley especially, there's been closures. Is this just a continuation of the ongoing, just to keep things repaired? Okay.
Yeah, this is normal maintenance, normal wear and tear on that stretch of roadway. So.
East direction was handled a little earlier in the year, and so now this is more westbound as the primary focus. And maybe just for our viewers, 580 between 680 and Livermore, the toll lane is being upgraded by ACTC, not Caltrans, as people probably know. And then southbound 680, where the new toll lanes are placed, they're up and running, but they're completed. The work's done, except they're waiting for electrification from PG&E, and as a result, there's free ride on that pay lane for a little bit until you get to Sunol area. So.
Right, I was going to, actually, just ask you about the 680 lanes. So it looks like they're
Done.
They're done.
Constructed. The only challenge is PG&E delays on electrifying the brains to be able to, the transponders to be able to read it all. Okay. Yeah. So.
And then those will just, they'll be connected basically all the way to Sunol where they are turned on.
And then eventually there's a North 680 plan on the books, and it's just a funding method that we're working on now.
Okay. All right, so we'll have toll lanes basically all the way from Santa Clara County all the way up into San Ramon.
And I think that's a great point, Splen, because it's 3 counties, Contra Costa, Alameda, and Santa Clara, that is actually where a lot of the consistency had to be worked out, so we had a process.
Great. Okay. All right, Matt. Anything else on the Caltrans?
No, you'll see it on your fast track bill.
All right. Thank you. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back of this edition of the Mayor's Report for Pleasanton. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Pleasanton. Well, welcome back, Matt, Vice Mayor Matt, Mayor Jack. Thank you so much for being here. Recently, your council had a workshop regarding priorities of projects. First of all, talk a little bit about why you have a workshop to discuss priorities. Why is that important?
Maybe I do that.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that we find with residents is they just expect they can call the mayor, vice mayor, or council member, and we can just wave a wand. But we're a body, and so as a result, the body has to agree with the majority of votes to do policy actions and things like that, and direct staff what to work on. Right? With limited resources, we don't have unlimited staff. And so the council typically and historically had done one priority workshop every 2 years. After a council would be elected, they would do a workshop, and it became a bit of a whoever could rally the most people to come to the workshop. And so we started to get a little bit more tied to election cycle rather than long-term priorities and goals of the city. So recently, and over the course of a number of years, we've been trying to change that process and align it a little bit better with the budget process. Not that it was unhitched before, but just trying to align it a little bit better. So that's kind of the stage, if you will. What's happened is we set a bunch of priorities about a year ago as the new council, and a little bit of them are getting done. There's some bandwidth starting to show up, and a lot of the projects that we thought were going to take a lot of time have actually been less time or completed now. And as a result of that, we're trying to see what's next, right? And kind of reevaluate the ones that are still remaining and go from there. So maybe I turn it over to the Vice Mayor to talk about it.
Yeah, Matt, tell us, give us a summary, give our viewers an update of what priorities were set, what projects did you discuss?
Right. We're continuing to prioritize things that are just fundamental to the city and to make sure we have long-term sustainability for funding, revenue, our asset management program, which is going to categorize and put our assets in a point where we can look at all of the things that we have to be responsible for in the city and make smart decisions about how we're going to go about prioritizing funding, repairing, replacing. Of course, ensuring that we have PFAS-free and contaminant-free water, which we're in partnership with Zone 7 on with new test wells. Economic development, like the mayor alluded to earlier, has been a huge priority. We want a vibrant Pleasanton. We want businesses to want to come here. We want to roll out the red carpet and make it easy and cut the red tape for them to come here and make our downtown vibrant and welcome them with open arms. Obviously, too, working on East Pleasanton, just past off Bush Road near El Charro, to make sure that that's developed in a way that works for everybody involved. And and other priorities like emergency preparedness, that had been a priority to make sure that we're ready to respond to any emergencies going on. That is not on the next priority list because we did a good job of sort of finishing the work on that. So if people say, why aren't you prioritize it anymore? Well, we did prioritize it, and we handled it. And so we were able to make room and bandwidth for other things for the city going forward. So, priority projects too that are coming through, a sports court amendment to make sure that if someone wants to build a tennis court or a basketball court in their backyard and they want to light it up all nice, that we make sure they don't do it 2 feet from their neighbor's house where it's going to shine light into somebody's bedroom. We've had some issues. Obviously, too, we want to connect all the beautiful trails we have in Pleasanton along the Arroyo so folks can not use their vehicles, can use their bikes, can use their e-bikes to run around back there and get to where they need to get in the city. Other things are getting elevated and prioritized. Downtown specific plan, taking a look at that. Cell phone lease, you may notice when you drive, as I do, down Santa Fe Road to get to work, I have to say, can't talk for another 3 miles, I'll call you back. And that's been a problem based on our statutes, and I've pushed that. The mayor's helped push that. It's gone to the Planning Commission, and we're trying to make sure that we can lease out sites in a smart way, in a safe way, to make sure that most people just use a cell phone, that you can make a call, that you could call 911.
If I can pick up on that, and that's, I think, where technology has changed so dramatically from when the council originally took the ordinances on cell phone towers and all that. They used to be a refrigerator box size machine or something that we'd have to put next to the tower. And so now, Pleasanton just, we realize the impact of these decisions have not helped us be cutting edge on our technology, right? So not only with a cell phone plan ordinance update that we've prioritized, but also a fiber plan, right? So that we can position Pleasanton to be able to just always be a destination for a business or a resident in the future, right? Long-term sustainability. So the other thing with the cell towers is we expect that it might generate some additional revenues to the city if we use it to lease out city land for some of these, which will be really important to go with. And then I do want to maybe highlight again, as the Vice Mayor mentioned, the downtown specific plan received a supermajority of support. It is something where we are really looking at what uses we should have downtown. How do we encourage property owners and businesses to locate there, as well as other locations in our city. So as the Vice Mayor said, land uses throughout the city and how we're using our land so that we're providing these services for residents and providing for a high quality of life. So there was a lot in the priority session. Yeah.
Well, great. I'm great. I actually I'm keen on the cell phone because, you recognize that not so long ago, a cell phone was a luxury, and now it's basically a necessity.
Yeah.
And for example, in your farmers market, where first
square payments,
they have to have cell coverage in order to process the payments, and now we don't think twice about doing it that way. So it's important that we have that, what do we call it, connectivity, right, throughout the city, so that business can be done, lives can be enjoyed. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, great. Let's turn the subject to, I know something that you're both, goes close to your hearts, and that's the relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. I know, Jack, you recently had your State of the City sponsored by the Chamber. Let's talk a little bit. What are the advantages the city has working with the Chamber, and also vice versa? What benefits does the Chamber enjoy?
Yeah, maybe I'll start. Yeah, so really appreciate the Chamber hosting the State of the City. We just had it, and I know the Vice Mayor was here recording before, in between when I did it and when I'm here now, but I thought it was an outstanding event, and just sincere thanks to the community, business community, residents, and the Chamber for showing up, and the sponsors for supporting that. That brings together so many people to network and talk about what the challenges are. And we have a pretty significant city staff size that goes there because we want to hear firsthand what some of the challenges or pinch points are. To me, what the Chamber's provided, at least for what I'm trying to do as mayor, is show me how a permitting process works in other cities, or what you hear, and where Pleasanton's either doing better or has some opportunities for change. And one of the biggest things that came out of that type of conversation is the Pleasanton playbook that I mentioned at the top of the show. we laid out through conversations with restaurateurs and other chamber members that they didn't know what the next process was in the permitting process. It's something so familiar to city staff, they just do it automatic, but an applicant may not have ever done that before, right? A resident may never have applied for a permit for a pergola or an outdoor type of structure. And so as a result of that, this playbook gives them at least an overview, right? And that type of conversation about things that can just reduce some barriers, but not necessarily reduce the quality of design or product that we're producing for Pleasanton really matters. And so I just can't speak enough about it. The other thing is, I personally want to hear if our businesses are having challenges in the economy, because so much of our property tax, sales tax come from our businesses, and that plows right in to public safety dollars that we can spend for police, fire, park maintenance, and library and recreation, right? So the ecosystem has to stay strong. And I'll stop there and let the Vice Mayor add in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to your point, the relationship between the two, and to answer that a little bit, is important, because when I go to a ribbon cutting, when I go meet a new business owner, when the mayor goes to a ribbon cutting, meets a new business owner, there's a huge amount of support from the other business owners and other people involved in the chamber, the presidents, all the staff. And it's great that hour we spend together catching up on things is a great way to interconnect and find out what's working, what could we work better, and the outpouring from our local businesses to support our new local businesses reinforces our reputation as just a premier place to do business, to work, to collaborate, to interconnect, and to network. So I think it's a very important relationship, and an important one that the council members and the mayor and the city manager and everyone has a good, healthy relationship with the chamber.
That's great. Yeah, and celebrate both new and old businesses, right?
Yeah,
indeed.
Okay. You mentioned at the top of the show about planting some trees downtown, but we have Arbor Day coming up,
yeah.
And the city's going to give away some trees. Tell us a little bit more about that giveaway.
Yeah, sure. We're giving away 100 trees at the Arbor Day Festival this year. 5-gallon trees that you can take home, plant on your property, help our urban forest, our canopy, as we like to say. Trees on private property are a big part of the canopy that we keep in Pleasanton. And when you drive around, the reason that it is such a lovely city and that we have such nice property values and homes is because the beautiful tree-lined streets. So residents can request a tree in advance and then pick it up from the Pleasanton Library on April 25th between 10:30 and 12:30. And so we're really excited for that. It's a simple way for people to get involved and get something for free from the city and plant something that'll last and help us out.
Bring a bigger truck, though. They're 5-gallon trees. We're not talking a little sapling you used to get as a kid, like a redwood tree.
You should have a truck or an SUV. 5 gallons is the same size as a big Home Depot bucket. So you gotta plan ahead a little bit.
Okay, great. Now we're going to finish up the show with just, there's always great things happening in Pleasanton. Highlight some of those for us.
I'm going to start with, not on our list, but Bike to Wherever Day is coming up in May 16th or 12th. Gosh, and I should have known the date. I didn't write it down. But Bike to Wherever Day, it promotes different types and modes of transportation. I don't know about everyone else, but with the gas prices where they're at in our economy, I'm trying to drive very infrequently, right? I'm walking more. So Bike to Wherever Day, I think, will take on a special additional meaning for that. The other thing is, as we're heading into spring and the school's getting out, I'm just going to encourage residents and viewers to just be very aware as they're driving around town. Lots more kiddos out, and don't be afraid or maybe be at ease that we are very cognizant of the e-bike challenges and are working as a collaboration with our other 4 cities, Danville, San Ramon, Dublin, and Livermore, to try to work cohesively so that we have a uniform there. I'll let you go with the other bits.
Sure. Yeah, I can echo what the mayor's saying about e-bikes, and a lot of times the complaints we get they're not e-bikes, they're e-motorcycles. These are dirt bikes that are supposed to be on, roads in the back, hills in Tahoe and mountains in the Sierra Nevadas, and somehow these kids are ending up with these things, and maybe their parents don't know what they're buying, or maybe they do, or maybe they're modified. But we're actively working on that, so the community knows it's an important issue that's going on in a lot of communities. But as far as things coming up to participate in, Earth Day, Arbor Day, both at the Pleasanton Library. That's where you can get your free tree. Come at 10:30 in the morning. Earth Day as well. There's going to be family-friendly activities, free compost giveaway like I talked about earlier. There's actually a clothing swap on Earth Day.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to bring some clothes down and see if you can reuse and reduce waste. And then an on-site shredding event too. If you want to bring all your documents down, we can shred those for you. So you'll see a lot of local partners, organizations sharing resources there, and we're excited to have the community down. And we have our nice library downtown. Please come down on Earth Day and Arbor Day and participate.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor Matt,
Sure.
Mayor Jack. Thank you for being with us.
Of course.
And thank you for watching this edition of the Mayor's Report for Pleasanton. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Splendorio. Thank you so much for joining us.